Hello to all my friends out there. So part of the reason of this video is to demonstrate how cutting your food in pieces, these are still partially frozen, how that is going to create more food. So I'm having some hot dogs and sauerkraut, and so what I really don't want to do is thank you for the cutting board, Francis. I really don't want to add a lot of money to this meal. I want to make this meal cheap because it's cheap eats. Not only that, if you get used to being rather cheap, if you ever had to, then, life would be pretty easy. I'm not saying eat cheap food all the time. Just saying that one good reason for eating cheap is if you don't have much money. Then that would be a real good idea, Or, if you're trying to do the Dave Ramsey saving money thing, Okay, so I have 1 can of sauerkraut. And then, I have some bottled water, but it could be tap water. On this, you could put hot hamburgers, hamburger meatballs in this. That is really good too. Okay, so now the only thing, in my opinion, you've got to know, okay, so what I want when I make this is I want enough water so it's almost like soup. And then the other thing, this is why I'm making this first, because I want to cook this a good 45 minutes or an hour. It's going to taste better. So you could just take hamburger or turkey burger and roll little meatballs. I have a couple gnats again. So I want to cook this about 45 minutes. And if I need more water, I will add it. So this is going to be kind of like soup when I get done. Okay, so now I want to make, one of the things that I wanted to convey when I started this was cooked fruit. Because, you have fruit, and so, if you have 2-3 pieces of fruit, you can make a nice little batch of cooked fruit. And so cooked fruit is really tasty when you're going to have jam or biscuits or mashed potatoes. And so I just want to make a quick batch of. Some of you been following me for a while have seen some of this, but I told you guys I had 77,000 views this month, and I'm pretty sure not everybody has seen I think I have about 3,000 videos out. Somebody said they were going to watch all my videos, and I thought, good luck, I can't even find them. But I think it's good to go over things because, especially things like this, if it becomes habitual, using up, buying your apples, your oranges, your lemon juice, your vinegar, your bananas, your, there's 3 vegetables. The 2 I can remember is, lettuce and carrots, because your carrots are like a yellow vegetable. There's another one, and I can't remember what it was. It's been going on for days, but when I remember it, I'll tell you. It wasn't tomatoes either. Although, I do like to have tomatoes and on hand. So filling your water bottles up is a good way to make sure you have water. Oh, I posted a good video on my Twitter for you guys to see. It's about what if the power grid went out. Well, if the power grid went out, we'd all be in deep trouble in California because when the power goes out, you can't get in the grocery stores. Here, when the power went out, we had one that lasted a while. Not too long, but The only thing that was open was a dark liquor store, and only one person could go in at a time. But at least you could get ice. A while back, I started keeping blocks of ice in my freezer. If you guys have been following me, you know about that. So see how this, how about cutting this in pieces? All I'm really going to be doing here is adding water. That is it. And then I'm going to add sugar, but I want to demonstrate how cutting your food in pieces or chunks is going to create more food. Somehow. Don't ask me how. I just know I saw it week after week after week, and I'm going to be demonstrating it from time to time. I got a good deal on these apples at Grocery Outlet. I think it was 3 pounds for $2. So that was pretty cheap, 75 cents a pound. Bananas can be had now and then cheap. I freeze those to be used for smoothies. So now, okay, these apples are going to make a nice little batch of applesauce. And what I do is I cook them down until I can mash them. They get soft and I mash them with a fork. And then, you know, tomorrow my son's probably coming over, and, you know, if you have a little tea party, your fruit's tasty on your bread, like jam. Okay, so I'm just going to cook that. And this worked out good. It's between 1/4 cup and 1/3 cup sugar. So I have some sugar in my sugar bowl. So then, you know, I'll just cook that down and then I'll add some lemon. Now let me tell you so far how much food I am creating. 2 hot dogs and a can of sauerkraut and 3 apples. And then I'll have mashed potatoes, and then I will have some spinach. Okay, now I want to do something. Okay, I want to make a half a batch of biscuits. And so you might be saying, well, why make a half a batch of biscuits? Why make a half a batch of well, a half a batch of a cake mix? Well, because then, you know, tomorrow or the next day. So what I do is I just eyeball it to about half, about that much. But in this video, there's a good reason in this video, there's a good reason I'm doing this, because I'm demonstrating how when you just have a few bites of food, that it multiplies your food. This is really important to have in the back of your mind in case you should ever start getting low on food. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to wet the dough. That's all I'm really doing. So you might be thinking, well, that's not going to be very many biscuits. That's okay. That's going to be plenty of biscuits. Okay, so now I was gonna use my lard, but I'm using my Crisco. I buy this stuff at Walmart. I'll be stockpiling 2 more of these. What you don't want to run out of is shortening oil. You don't want to do that. You could use bacon grease if you don't have any shortening. Okay, now, let's see. So what I really want to do here is I really want to create just biscuits, bite-sized biscuits. Like, say, the size, you've probably heard of $half size. That's all I want to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 biscuits. 6 bite-sized biscuits. Otherwise, if I was making the whole batch, I would make 12. Okay, I'll be back.